The older I get, the more I forget about what it was like to be a kid. That whole period of time just kind of disappears into this fog with precious few days standing out. Pizza parties, fights, and then there was this one time. I think it was in 1st or 2nd grade. I get permission from the teacher to go to the bathroom and they give you that wooden pass that every class seemed to have. I walk into the bathroom and I go up to one of those tall, full body length urinals that elementary schools always had. And that's what I made a horrifying discovery. At the bottom of that urinal, mere inches away from my shoes, was a massive turd. A man-sized turd, so big that perhaps it was actually left there by a teacher. This completely blew my 8-year-old mind. I had never even considered such a possibility. No person would possibly leave a number 2 where number 1 belonged, yet there it was. Whoever that brave soul was, they created a memory that stuck with me for my entire life. They inspired me, taught me to think outside the box. I never did it myself, but I often thought about what it would be like. And years later, I found out that I wasn't alone. It was in late 2000 that a group of proto-shitposters, let's call them, got together for a very auspicious conversation on IRC. A number of topics came up that night, including the idea of pooping in a urinal. They all had a good laugh, but in particular, one of them just couldn't get over it. He thought about all night long, and eventually he just absolutely had to register the URL urinalpoop.org. And shortly after, he would craft that website into the internet's #1 destination for all things urinal poop. Such as this Space Moose comic. Tee-hee-hee. Space Moose, what the hell are you doing? What does it look like I'm doing? You can't do it in there. Oh, I'm so sorry. I must have missed it when you got your PhD in defecation. Or this comic from the Humor Archives. It's okay, I've got diarrhea. It also collected a number of short stories having to do with urinal poop. I'll regale you with this one entitled Shitter. One night, before a girls' varsity soccer game, some friends and I drove up to the game and had a pre-party in my van before the game. It turns out we were pretty late for the game, so we quickly downed around 6 beers each. Before making the trek up to the field, we decided to make a piss stop in the school. The closest bathroom to the entrance we went in had 2 urinals and 1 toilet. My friend took the toilet, and I took a urinal. My other friend really needed to take a number 2, but the toilet was already occupied. So, he proceeded to take a dump in the urinal. After he was done doing that, we were all laughing beyond belief. And the same friend who took a crap in the urinal started to choke on his gum because of how much we were laughing. So, he then flew over to the toilet and threw up all over the place. Needless to say, we all flew out of the bathroom at that point. The next day at soccer practice, the door was propped open to air the sucker out. That poor janitor. In addition, it also linked to a website, urinal.net, which was a gallery of unpooped urinals. In a way, this was a little bit of a precursor to urinalpoop.org, which would eventually have a gallery of its own. But at this early stage, they had no pictures, and the owner was asking for some submissions. Send me pictures of poop in urinals, damn it! Yes, really, I have none. If I get any, I will post them on the page. Stop sending me mail asking for poop pictures. And if you're going around pooping in urinals, it's a dangerous world out there. But don't worry, because they weren't sending you out unequipped. This fecal project mayhem gave you instructions on the best way to get poop in a urinal. How to get poop in a urinal. The easiest way is just to drop trow in the men's room and press your hiney up against the urinal and let go. However, I can think of a few reasons you might not want to take this approach. For instance, there's the whole getting caught ordeal, or having a colon prone to stage fright. Not to mention, putting your ass into close proximity with thousands of generations of urine. With that in mind, I have devised the following not so clever and oh so easy plan. In the comfort of your own home, when you feel the urge, crap into a plastic bag. Ziploc would be a good idea. Sponsored post? When the opportunity presents itself, carefully deposit your offering into the porcelain altar of liquid excrement. Congratulations, you now have poop in a urinal. Take a picture and send it here. And in the unfortunate situation that you did get caught, they had some suggestions on how to get out of trouble. The top X things to say when you've been caught pooping in the urinal. Can you get me some toilet paper? This one seems to be out. I keep slipping off these little seats. What the? Get the fuck out of my stall. I'm installing the new cakes. Didn't you hear about the guy at Starbucks who got his dick crushed in a toilet seat? Dude, I'm not gonna sit on the crapper seats. People piss all over those things. Ideally, these are supposed to be funny. And with his masterpiece finished, the creator of urinalpoop.org shared the link in a few IRC chats and walked away, in his mind leaving it to be yet another buried treasure in the vast plains of the internet. Like the icy hot stuntas, or Jeff Goldblum is watching you poop. But then, something unexpected happened. About a month after urinalpoop.org went live, its creator noticed a sudden surge of traffic. Out of nowhere, tens of thousands of people were looking at this website. So he went and checked his logs and noticed that all of this traffic had been coming from none other than goatsy.cx. Yes, that goatsy.cx. Urinalpoop.org had apparently been posted alongside the world's most famous gaping butthole. And it was shortly after that he received his first submission for his gallery. And now here's the thing, I don't know if I would get a strike for posting the uncensored picture. There's not even anybody that I could talk to at YouTube to find out, because that's how the system works. But I'm not gonna chance it, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'll be censoring the turds with the closest approximation that I can think of, and you can just be comfortable knowing that these pictures existed. Behold, the one and only entry in the very first incarnation of the urinalpoop.org gallery. But although the site's popularity was growing exponentially, it would actually lie dormant until mid-2002. According to the site's owner, it was a thread on the Something Awful forums that reminded him of just how funny it is to poop in a urinal. So he came back to his old creation and gave it a total redesign, complete with a brand new logo. And thus, we entered the golden age of urinal poop. The gallery had grown, and the site now had a philosophy section which covered the three aspects of pooping in urinals. Rationale. Most of us have, at one point or another in our lives, seen a urinal. As objects, in and of themselves, they don't elicit much in the way of commentary. However, when combined with fecal matter, the urinal instantly becomes a veritable tinderbox of wonderment, derision, offense, and general unpleasantry. What would drive someone to do such a thing? Desperation? Showmanship? Desire to disrupt? General drunkenness? Indeed, the juxtaposition of these two otherwise ordinary objects is more than the sum of its parts. Thus, urinalpoop.org. Delivery. And this section was a restating of the original strategies for getting poop into a urinal, divided into two sections: brute force and covert strike. And finally, apology. Be aware that there is a darker side to urinal pooping. After the initial discovery and exclamations, thoughts inevitably turn to wondering who's going to clean it up. This section is dedicated to those brave and unfortunate souls upon whom the duty falls to extricate the poop from the urinal. Even for one such as myself, childishly fascinated by the phenomenon, the task is an odious one. I'm afraid I cannot offer much more than words of sympathy and an encouragement to try to look at the funny side of the situation. You'll look back on this memory and laugh. Someday. At this point, the book of urinalpoop.org had become fleshed out enough that it could practically be its own religion. However, one cannot live on urinal poop alone, and inspiration is fleeting. Although the creator of the site, regaining his motivation from somethingawful.com thread, toiled late into the night, working hard, like a Grimm's fairy tale elf making a fine pair of shoes, this would be the last time that he'd ever updated. Years went by, and at some point between late 2005 and early 2006, ownership of the URL urinalpoop.org lapsed, and it was replaced by one of those weird placeholder sites. It now proudly sported the text, urinalpoop.org. What you need, when you need it. But perhaps the time had already passed for these kinds of websites. By 2005, we were already deep into Web 2.0, and RateMyPoo.com was providing a more elegant solution for this market. But in a way, urinalpoop.org was a site that kind of bridged the gap between the old world and the new world. I guess what I'm saying is this episode has basically been My No Country for Old Men. Anyway, thanks for watching, and if you like this episode, you'll probably like my Rotten.com video. Bye-bye.